It's been a while. It's been a very long time since I had one of these conversations, and I felt like maybe I should get to these kind of conversations again, where I would talk to you guys personally, in a more sincere way, in a more personal way, because I still find that very important. Still find it very important to do so that people can feel seen and don't feel lonely anymore, which is actually what I would like to talk about in this little recording. Because loneliness is still very present, and I get the feeling that it's only going to increase more and more, considering the scene and the way that society is, the way that people have been, the way that people have become, basically, that loneliness is only going to increase. And that is a very dangerous thing to happen, and I don't want that to unfold. I don't want anyone to feel lonely, and it is one of the very first things, or one of the very first reasons why I started streaming, because I don't want people to feel lonely as I do. And I kind of wanted to share some experience in like different kinds of loneliness, and what you could potentially do in order to fix potential loneliness things through the things that I might be telling you, or at least sharing with you. So for me personally, loneliness for me is just not feeling or being seen. I live on my own. I did get myself 2 cats, because living entirely on my own it really reinforces that idea that you're lonely, right? It really reinforces that there is no one physically around me, and I do have a boyfriend or something like that, or a girlfriend, and there's just no one here. And I wanted to fill that void with at least something that I could share my love to, or give my love to them, and in this case that would be my 2 cats. And that was a way for me to cope a little bit with physical loneliness, that is. There are also other ways that I sometimes just try to fix things in terms of loneliness, where I would be turning on TV, for example, and just let something play in the background so that it feels a little bit more alive, which is also a thing that you can do in case that you're feeling all alone. But that's a thing that you can do to make it feel a little bit less lonely, should you be living alone. But this is something completely different in comparison to loneliness when it comes to love, because there's a lot of people that would really like to have a boyfriend or girlfriend to kind of fill the gap of their loneliness, but it won't really change anything, because if they are already unhappy by default, even though they don't have a girlfriend or boyfriend, because there's countless of times where people have been saying things like, if only I had someone in my life, I would be perfect, everything would be perfect, and something like that. And personally, I don't believe that, because someone in your life should not be a replacement or an insta-fix to your loneliness. It is something that you will have to fix for yourself, first and foremost. This is also something that I would like to talk to in another topic, in another similar video like this, for example. But here, from what I know and from what I've seen, for example, from people that have been reaching out to me, that is also a different aspect of loneliness, basically, that they really want to get rid of, that they really want to fill that void with someone, and they would just literally pick anyone, for that matter, to have literally anyone be that person to fill that void, rather than waiting for the right person to accompany you during your journey in life, which is infinitely more important, more valuable to you in the long run. Because if you just have someone for the sake of having someone, that is not going to last. It is something that people will have to set out of their minds, that just because you have a significant other, that therefore your loneliness problems are going to be fixed. To the contrary, even, and let me even share you something that happened with me, when I felt absolutely lonely despite being in a community with thousands of people in this case. And for me, I used to be in Zentrail's community with the geckos, and was the biggest example that I can give. And there's thousands of people in there, right? In the stream, in the Discord, and in Hangouts. There are no 1,000 in Hangouts, sometimes let's say 20 people, maybe 30 sometimes, from what I can remember. It's been a very long time. But even then, despite during those events, despite being part of that community or having been part of that community, even then, I still had moments where I felt so lonely despite having so many people around me, which is also, again, a testimony of just because there's a lot of people in a community or around you doesn't automatically fix your loneliness. So that's why I feel like with the thing that I said in the beginning of this video, that I feel that loneliness or fixing someone's loneliness is basically fixable, if that is a word, or can be fixed if people see the person first and foremost. And it doesn't mean that they have to be talking like every single time or that they have to be spamming DMs or something along those lines. Just feeling having the sense of knowing that someone else knows that I exist and someone else knows who I am. Not necessarily like in personal details, but just like they know who I am as a person that I am. And I feel like having that sentiment with someone, even if it's just one person, will already instantly fix a lot of weights on your shoulders, on the basis of loneliness. That is, like, if you already have someone that knows you, who you are as a person, then you'll feel a lot less lonely. And the more people that you have that way, and I wouldn't go too far, like having 1 million people or 1,000 people knowing you through and through, but more in a sense of having let's say 10 people, 5 to 10 people, something along those lines, that you hang out with regularly, or that you can talk to regularly, or spend time with, play video games with, stuff like that. It's those little things that really do matter when it comes to loneliness, especially, again, when you feel that, and when you not only feel, but you also see and experience that whoever else that you're interacting with, that they want to have you around, and also that they care about you. And not necessarily only when you're down, but also just aside from that they will reach out to you with maybe sending you memes or shitposty stuff, or just generally asking how you are, or inviting you for video games or video game sessions, stuff like that, right? Or sharing passions, sharing video games, sharing artwork, in whatever way you fancy that is, and things like that. And it doesn't have to be always. And that is the thing that people really should understand of how you can actually fix loneliness. And that is, for me personally, something that really helped me out, because thanks to the community that I was able to build, thanks to all of you, it is because of you that this community is here now, and I feel a lot less lonely, because if it wasn't for you guys, I would have no one. No one checks up on me IRL, not even my parents, I'll be honest. Not even my brother. I do have an IRL friend, and we rarely chat though. We're kind of getting back into chatting regularly again. But aside from that, I have no one. No one would check up on me. No one would reach out to me hey, how have you been, this or that. It doesn't happen. And thanks to this community now, and this is why I also call the internet both a blessing and a curse, because if it wasn't for the internet, I wouldn't be able to meet all of you. And thanks to this now, I'm happy that I have you guys in my life, and this is something that has worked for me, but that doesn't mean that it is automatically a fix for everyone else who might be watching this video or listening to this video. But it is a thing that does help from what I've seen and from what I've experienced, what other people have told me. And it's a very similar line of them just wanting to feel loved and seen for the person that they are. And the moment that happens, that loneliness instantly decreases so very much. And you can be physically lonely, that physically no one is around you, or you rarely interact with people, but that doesn't mean that you're there for a lonely, or that you feel lonely. You can be physically lonely, in the literal sense of no one having around you, but there's the difference between lonely or being lonely and loneliness. I forgot what the saying is, or the explanation around that, but you get what I mean, right? So it's more in the sense of, just because no one is around you, you know that you have people in your life, and because you know these people, and you know oh, these people, they are my friends. They are my friends that I can confide to, that I can trust, that I can spend time with, that I've met through whatever means necessary, that you can count on them, that you can always spend time with, etc., etc. having someone like that, even if it's just a singular person, will already infinitely like decrease your worries about being lonely, and you will no longer feel lonely despite you know, again, maybe just going like, you know, your daily schedule might feel like, you know, waking up, eating breakfast, taking a shower, or the other way around. That depends. For all means or for all purposes, take your breakfast and a shower. I don't care. And then after that, you go to work, and then after that, you know, after work, you go back home, you scroll a little bit on the internet, or you play a video game, go back to bed, rinse and repeat, right? But despite the repetitive, like cycle, this endless cycle that you might be in, you can still always think, like the moment that you have people like that I've just described, those friends, those people in your life that you can count on, that because you can think of them instantly, your day becomes a lot better. Even though they're not around, even though you're not at that time, like when you're at work, for example, at that time, you're not able to talk to them, you can still think about them and what they have done for you. And because of those happy thoughts, basically, those wonderful memories that you've been able to create together, you will be able to basically just be happy again and to feel less lonely, despite, again, you not seeing them in person or you not talking to them at that moment. You can just remember the things that you guys went through and the fun times that you guys had, and therefore the loneliness will disappear gradually but surely. And that is something for me that absolutely helped so much in combating my loneliness, because again, physically, I have no one, you know, that would check up on me. Like I could literally drop dead today and would most likely take months before someone is going to be like, hey, where the fuck did Tabby go? So that's why this is something that I feel like is very important, to have a connection with people and having people that you know that you can count on and just talk to whenever. And it doesn't have to be all the time. It can just be whenever you want, whenever they want, and vice versa. Like, you know, share DMs or send DMs, artworks with each other, video games, this and that, like I've said before. And again, it will be a lot better for you. This is how, for me, again, how I combat my loneliness. And again, one of the primary reasons why I started streaming and VTubing altogether is to build this community, to provide a place for people to not feel lonely and sad or depressed anymore. And again, like depression is something that I will also tackle in one of these videos and one of these recordings, on how I process that, how it might help you with how I process things. We'll see how we will tackle that. But there are different topics that I would absolutely love to talk about and keep things like these more interactive, so that I can talk to you guys this way, and that you guys can also like pick up on those video whenever you guys would like. Should you guys need the help or should you guys need help or advice in terms of the topics at hand. So that's why I wanted to be able to provide that. I wanted to take this way more seriously, and I want to take the relationship between you and me, as in you, the viewer or listener, and me, that we can have a more intimate connection, and that we can, you know, talk to each other this way. And also, again, DMs are always open. If you guys would like to talk to me, you always can. And this is something that I would like to continue doing. It is a primary drive why I keep doing this, because, again, for the loneliness part of, like, to keep in tangent with this video, is because I don't want you guys to feel lonely anymore. And I will do whatever I can by this video or through streams or community nights or just talking in the Discord, talking in DMs, anywhere you want. I will use all those means necessary in the attempt, and hopefully a successful attempt, to make you feel less lonely.